up. What's up?
I said close my door.
Oh, okay. I think you said no life.
Hello. Good evening. I'm Latasha McDowell, local real estate expert here in Tallahassee, Florida. So, thank you guys for joining me. I realized today in talking to my niece, or my niece-in-law, whom just had a baby. Hello, Darlene. Hello. How you been, Darlene? It's my first time seeing you this week. What's happening? You acting funny? Anywho, so I was talking to her this evening. They just had a baby, and we were talking about credit. We were talking about preparing for their child's future and getting everything situated. So, you know, our whole job here is to do better, to teach our kids better. So, we were talking about credit and credit restoration because, of course, now that they've had a baby, they're interested in being homeowners. So, he was looking for you. No? Well, I didn't come on at 8:30, but I'm here now. So, we were talking about how was your day today, by the way, and how's your week thus far? But we were talking about credit repair and having things in line for their child now that they're new parents, and they are fairly young. They are, I want to say, maybe like 24, 25. It's always nice to see you too, my love. And so I was talking to them about getting their credit together and how they really don't have the bandwidth to do it themselves. So I was telling them about the organization that I've partnered with for credit repair. And I was explaining to them the different things that was available to them when they joined the service. So, one, she had only heard of a will, but she never knew the difference between a will and a trust. So we talked about that. We talked about credit repair, disputing things. We talked about paying off the debt and things of that nature. And our conversation, and she's also going to school to be a realtor. So our conversation took a path of education. And she was saying, you know, I had never heard of these things before. I had never heard of, you know, really setting a savings goal and how to accomplish a savings goal. She had never knew about a trust or IRAs and things of this nature because it was something that they had never discussed. So the conversation really was very fruitful, and
Dad.
I understand. Respect my time. The conversation was very fruitful, and it was very educational for her. So in talking to her about these different things, I realized that I may have said in passing that I offer a credit restoration product, but I never really went into detail about it. I never really expressed and explained everything to you like I normally do. So for that, I apologize. I'm not going to be on live long, but I will be here long enough to explain the products and explain what it does, so you can have a better understanding of it, because I take full responsibility for, I just told you guys it was there, but I never gave you the detail like I typically would do about anything else. So I provide you a disservice, and I realize that, and I'm apologizing, and I'm correcting it now. So let's talk about it. Do you guys understand that there is a major difference between a will and having a trust? Okay, so when you have a will, you know, your family will still have to go through probate, which is very expensive and very draining. It's something that my dad passed in September. I'm still going through it now. It's a nightmare. But he thought it was covered because he had a will. He didn't realize that if he had a trust, which is a legal relationship of title establishment for properties, things would have been much easier for us. So with the will, you say, I bequeath this to this person. I bequeath that to that person. But the trust says, upon my time of expiration, I title this particular property to this person or to that person, which means like in purchasing a home, when you have title, which is like a deed over something, that means it directly goes to you. So with a trust, you're directly saying this directly goes to that person. Where in a trust can't be, because of the fiduciary duties, it can't really be contested like a will can. So I was explaining that to her, like I've just explained it to you. So I also talked to her about the importance of credit monitoring. Okay, because she called me today, and when we were talking, the nature of her call originally, because something had popped up on her credit, and she didn't know what it was, and she didn't know why it had popped up. So we were talking about that, and I was explaining to her about the different ways in which something can, when you have a credit card and it goes into collections, there's an internal collections process. Then once it goes through the internal collections process, then it's charged off, and then a creditor can purchase that debt and begin that collections process again. And I was explaining to her that I need her to look at her credit bureau report and actually compare the account numbers to make sure, one, it's not a duplication of a debt, number one, that's being reported, and to make sure that the debt is actually hers. Because if she had not received any notifications of it or received any letters or anything, and just boom, one day it popped up like a bad pimple, then we need to find out the root cause of it to get rid of it, right? And I was telling her that I understand that, although she's trying 100% that she has available to take care of and monitor these things with her credit, she's a new mom. So she doesn't really have that luxury of time to do so. She's a new mom, and my nephew, they own a thriving business. So the duplex you're currently renting, I'm gonna need a little more insight than that. Or are you the person who texted me earlier about the duplex that they're renting? So we were talking about that in this moment, sweetheart. It's just strictly about credit, because I'm not going to be on here long. But if you're the person who texted me earlier, go ahead and use the link in my bio, schedule an appointment, and we'll talk about your situation in detail. But so let me let you guys take a look at the actual program and how it's set up for you to have a better understanding of the things that we discussed today. Is there any way I can back this puppy up? Okay, I'm gonna have to hold it. So the organization is, the plan is UCES Protection Plan. As you can see, it's me. So you want to know, it's an all-inclusive membership. You have the Locksbox feature, which is the financial roadmap. You have the savings goal that helps you obtain that. You have the will and trust, which is what I was just talking about, where you can establish credit monitoring. And if you're wanting more detail of what's all included, go ahead, and because I did see your message and I replied to your message. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm talking to ice cream. I did see your message. I replied to your message, but go ahead and book an appointment, because it sounds like you're putting the cart before the horse, and we first need to find out what you're eligible for before we start wondering the value of the property, right? So we need to do things in a particular order. So back to the protection plan. So it teaches you about budgeting. In there, you'll have what's called the dashboard. Hi, Hope. You'll have the dashboard, and you'll be able to see different things like your budget. You'll establish that. Credit restoration. The credit restoration tool that comes along with it, it actually does this. It does help challenge the credit bureaus to remove inaccurate, obsolete, or erroneous items from your credit report, and restore your score to maximum financial opportunities. So here's how that works. Let's go more into that. Can you guys see this? It's kind of hard for me to hold it and type and do all this great stuff. And the link is in my bio. So if you want to follow along with me, you can. But it significantly tells you in great detail about the credit experts, how they go in and they actually look into your credit bureau report and see what negative things are reporting there. And what they do is they begin to actively attack it. So what happens is they will send you out an email. You'll get an email of the letters. You have to sign the letters, the dispute letters. You don't have to worry about creating them, crafting them, and all that great stuff. It's going to come to you. You'll sign it. You'll mail it out. They're also going to teach you about how to build your credit. Much more in detail on the things that I do. The features will talk about how I taught you guys the circle of how your credit is actually calculated and the things that are taken into consideration in the percentages. Like we talked about the payment history. I believe, I know on my group page, on my Facebook group, I have this pie chart up that shows you how much debt affects your credit, how new credit affects your credit, and what the percentages should be to have a good, healthy credit score. Your credit is based upon, not just your payment history. Your payment history is a large piece of the pie. But as you can see, it also talks about new credit, the types of credit. You have to have diversified credit. And this is what a perfect credit model looks like. So this is what you are aiming for. This is what they work with you towards getting you this healthy goal. So, like I said, it breaks down the credit system, the credit management techniques, the education system, because you guys know me, and it's really important to me that you learn good, healthy financial habits. Also, let's say you're disputing something and you need legal advice. Well, as a part of this plan, you do get access to a credit attorney whom able to answer your questions, talk about, I don't know if you guys, this has happened to me in the past, which is why let me say this while y'all looking at me. This has happened to me in the past, which is why I actually ended up, one of the catalysts of why I actually ended up filing bankruptcy myself years ago is because I was getting notifications that I was going to be sued by different credit companies, right? And I didn't know what to do. So by the time I did talk to an attorney, the best alternative for me was filing bankruptcy. But if you've ever gotten notification from a creditor that they were going to, sue you, or you've had situations where your bank accounts have been frozen, that's happened to a friend of mine not about a year or two ago, where his bank accounts were frozen because the credit card company went ahead and filed suit. And by him not responding and just ignoring the letters and everything that he was receiving from the creditors, a judgment was set against him. And it froze everything. It shut him down, right? It froze all of his bank accounts, all of his check-ins, all of his savings. He didn't have access to any money. And the really jacked up part about it is when it happened, it was right when his rent was due and right when his car note was due. Right? So in those kind of situations, it really does help you to have a credit attorney available to answer your questions and help you get out of those situations. Right? Well, I tell you, my friend was in a really jacked position because at the time he was just newly diagnosed. No, their student loans will not be counted in the bankruptcy. No. It was a really bad situation for him is because not only was it time for his rent to be paid, not only was it time for his car note to be paid, he was just released from the hospital not too much before that, where he was newly diagnosed with diabetes and he needed to get medications and all kind of stuff, and his money was frozen. He had access to nothing. Not nothing, but nothing. So if you are in a situation where you really need to get your credit together, you're drowning in debt, go ahead and sign up for the services. We really cannot afford to have bad credit. We can't. And I'm pretty sure if he was a part of this live, he'd tell you. We cannot afford to have bad credit. Remember that movie with Tyler Perry, Good Deeds, when the lady was working in his office building and she was in environmental services, and the IRS had taken her money because she had back taxes or what have you, and she ended up homeless. How many of us are living paycheck to paycheck and cannot afford for a creditor to say, I'm going to sue you and I'm going to have a judgment placed against you? Because, again, telling on myself, I know once upon a time I was getting so many collection letters. Child, that shit wasn't, I won't curse. It wasn't even making it into my house. I was straight dumping it in the trash can. I wasn't even opening them. I was just dumping them straight in the trash can because I was overwhelmed by the mistakes I had made in the past. So if you are to that point where you don't want to go to your mailbox and it's just too much, then go ahead and sign up for help. And help is in the form of getting your credit together. This is more than just about buying a home. It really is. It's more than just about buying a home. It's about peace of mind. Who wants to be in a situation where if their car breaks down, they have to go to these predatory lenders that are buy here, pay here. So you end up paying triple the amount for a car and the car is a piece of trash. There you go, darling. You're right. Or you can't answer your phone because creditors keep calling. Exactly. I mean, the warranty people isn't the only reason why we're not answering our calls from numbers we don't know. But you have to decide if you want something different, then you have to do something different. How much do you have to owe to file bankruptcy? There isn't a minimum amount. There isn't. But in filing bankruptcy, you still have to pay some of the debt. You still may have to pay some of the debt. And you still, remember, keep in mind that it's going to be 24 months before you're eligible to purchase and you have to restart from scratch. In fact, Josh was just talking about it last night. Now, remember, when you're filing bankruptcy, you have to pay an attorney. You have to pay an attorney. So there's attorney fees involved. Unless you are blessed to be deemed by legal aid that they'll do it for you. But that won't be an overnight process. Trust, I can promise you, with this pandemic, can you think about how many people lost their jobs and in financial situations that are having to file bankruptcy? So bankruptcy is a relief, but you have to know what the ins and outs of it. Like, it's something that you really have to educate yourself on. Because some people think that, oh, once the judge does it, you're free to clear. You can go out skipping in the roses. No, sometimes you still have to pay debt. You still have to pay a portion of that debt. So before filing bankruptcy, it is really important that you do consult with a credit attorney. It's really important. So Tony is asking, what do I think about consolidating your debt? When you're consolidating your debt, if it's going to bring down your monthly payment, as well as you'll be paying less interest, and you'll be satisfying or paying off, your debt in a half the time or a significantly smaller amount of time than what you were doing, paying them individually, then by all means, go right ahead. But don't make a decision to say, okay, I'm going to, hey Pooh. Don't make the decision to say, okay, I'm going to just go ahead and get this loan and pay off all this debt. Now you've gone from paying $1,200 a month, individually, to now you've consolidated to $700 a month. But then you still have all those accounts open and you go charge up all those cards. So all you've done is put yourself in double, possibly triple the amount of debt. So if you're going to do debt consolidation, then really consolidate the debt. Cool beans? Okay. So yeah, it's a great idea. I mean, we just did it at my house. I tell y'all, all my damn business. But anywho, which basically means I'm not going to tell you something that I wouldn't have done myself. That's what that means. Also, the tool has something that's exceedingly important, which is called the credit monitoring portion of it. You have to stay in the know of your credit. You have to keep a pulse on what's going on with you credit-wise. It's not something that you can ignore. You can't. You can't afford to. And this, again, is bigger than home ownership. It's bigger. Bigger than home ownership. Yes, I'm late. Yes, I'm on later. Am I going to stay on long? No, I'm exhausted. So, oh, thank you, babe. I am exhausted. You ever have been so tired you got a headache? That's where I'm at right now. But I felt that this was really important to discuss. And Bori, I need you to do something for me, so I'm going to call you tomorrow too. Anywho, I need you to translate something for me. I'll tell you what it is. I'll call you tomorrow. So it's really important that you are aware of what's going on with your credit. You know when your light bill due, you know when your water bill due, you know when it's time to get your eyebrows arched, you know when it's time to get a refill, you know when your car needs an oil change, a tune-up. You keep track of all of that. So you need to keep track of this too. Because this, honestly, it's more freaking important. Honestly. So we're going to go back to it. So it offers a credit monitoring tool. Okay. And when I tell you this is what your dashboard is going to look like, everything is going to be in one place where it's going to have your information and be specifically dedicated to you and you only, and about your credit and what's going on. So it'll have the tabs that tell you what needs attention, what minimum monthly payments. It will show you what it all that you're paying a month, each month, all of your bills. It'll tell you the amount of your revolving credit, what your balance is. It will tell you how many installment agreements you have, how long it will take off, the total debt. It will just do like how it tells you how many inquiries and all that. So, and there's actually a part on this. Let me see if it'll pull it up for me. If I can see it. The live ID alerts. You will get up-to-date information constantly. You're going to get up-to-date information. So you will always be in the know. The sooner you know, the quicker you can address it. If you know when something happens immediately, the quicker you can address it. Like literally yesterday, a lady and I, we were talking during her consultation. We have a follow-up on tomorrow. And she had been disputing her credit and working on it. And when we were talking, I realized that the same debt was reported twice by a collection agency. It was actively being reported by the collection agency, and it was actively being reported by the original creditor, which is against the law, right? But, and this had been going on for over a year. Until yesterday when we were talking about it, and she was explaining to me what was going on. That's when we caught it. Let's see. Trying to get your towels. Oh, well, get the babies to go to sleep, girl. I'm going to go to sleep, baby. Don't worry. I'll be good. Because tomorrow, I am turning off all phones. Well, after my meeting, I'm turning off all phones. Good day, I understand, but sleep. I have one question. Do you think it's a good idea to buy a home and do a business out of it? The truth is, where do I work? Now, with my business, I don't have people coming in. When I have to meet with the client, I actually do go to the office to meet with the client. I don't have them come to my home. But if you're talking about a true in-home business, let's say if you're doing something like a salon, or I've even seen people do like a store next to, inside their home. Yes, against the law. If that's going to be financially beneficial for you, then go right ahead. But let me tell you something. Let's keep in mind this one thing. You can purchase property that are residential and commercial mixed. For example, you can have your store downstairs and you can live upstairs. And also to that fact, a lot of mental health professionals, they have their offices in their home. So it depends on the type of business. Now for me, like a clothing business or somewhere someone can come and shop, I don't know if I would personally be comfortable with that. Because I'm really big on, people carrying different spirits and y'all coming in and out my place of peace, my sanctuary. But to eat financially, cool. But that's just me. And that's how I operate. But if, I do know some people who have, they may have had a duplex and turn one side into a commercial building but they would be in a kind of neighborhood that would drive that kind of traffic. But from a realtor's perspective, I would say try to find a building whereas you would have your house, upstairs and your business downstairs. But for me, I'm really ticky about the energy Like, I don't have a whole lot of guests. I don't have like a whole lot of people come in and out of my home. I'm really, really protective of my energy, my space, my flow, but that's me. Okay, so user 16965329953. That was a lot. Yes, if in the event that, let's say for example, if I had a account with Chase, right, a credit card, and it went delinquent, and Chase was still currently showing my negative information, like they were updating that mug every month. But then little old collection.com bought it. So now I got Chase reporting it, and I got collection.com reporting it. Y'all double dinging me for the same debt. No, that's not an available option. So it sounds very much so like to me that for the protection plan, go ahead and hit the link in my bio and let those experts work on getting that resolved for you. No, I bless my home daily. The goings in and coming out. Hey, China. But I'm really ticky about the energy that even I have in my presence. So you have to be aligned up with people, right? You should always be evenly yoked with the company that you're around. No energy drainers, no people who thrive off of chaos. It's not what I do. But, so, back to what this whole topic was actually about, which is credit restoration. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know how many times I've said this before, and I apologize for not going over the tool to explain it to you and how beneficial it is for you. It is truly beneficial. At any point, at any time of the day, you'll be able to click and see what's going on. You'll be able to see, oh, okay, so this was disputed. I had 5 collections. I've disputed 5, and now I only have 2. Real-time information. That's a lot of power at your fingertips. Especially if you're telling me, you want to purchase a home. And honestly, it's not too late to purchase a home this year. But in order to do that, boo-boo, you gotta do something. If you keep doing the same things, you'll keep getting the same result. So if you keep doing nothing, you keep getting the same result. If you keep challenging it and it's still there, then that means that you're not doing something right, so you keep getting the same result. God forbid you keep challenging it and you keep re-aging it and bringing it back to life and keep breathing life into it. God forbid that's going on. Which it is. Sometimes enough is enough, and you have to decide on change. You can't say, I want my kids to grow up in a home, but you're renting, and for school you just went and bought them $150 pair of Jordans that they're going to grow out of in 3 to 4 months. At the moment they get dirty, they're not going to have any interest in. Stop wasting your money in liabilities and invest your money in an asset. Your asset is you. Your asset is your credit. That's an asset. Now, let's be realistic and honest. And y'all know Christmas coming around the corner, so more than likely you got a Christmas savings going on. Right? How many of y'all bought them damn PS5s last year? And when you bought those PS5s, let's be honest, you didn't buy them for your child's entertainment. You bought those PS5s to babysit your child for you while you did other things. But for the amount of money that you use on that PS5, you could have invested it and made that money work for you and doubled by now. Think about if you had invested that money that you put in that PS5 into some Bitcoin. What if you'd bought some stock? What if when, what was that store, the video store, when their stock blew up, what if you had purchased some stock in that? My car is barely making it to work because I refuse to buy a brother than a new car. I'm saving my money. As long as my car gets me around town, I'm okay. That's a great GameStop. Yeah. Think about if instead of you buying that damn PS5 from GameStop, if you'd invested in GameStop, just $100. Child, you wouldn't be good right now. You'd be great. Stop investing in liabilities and start investing in assets. And when the asset you're going to invest in, make that asset you. You're the asset. Paying yourself first does not mean going out and get you a new fit. Or hang out with the boys, shooting pool, or going on fishing trips. That's not paying yourself first. Paying yourself first is getting your shit together. That's paying yourself first. For the amount of money you pay for them children tennis shoes, you could have enrolled in this credit plan, and in 6 months you could be having them children wearing some new house. That's what they could be wearing. A new house in their own room. You're not paying $1,200 rent. Because that apartment that you're probably paying $1,200 for, more than likely if you was to purchase a home twice the size of that apartment, I bet you your monthly mortgage would have been like $900 and something versus paying $1,200 and something for somebody else's shit that you can't even put a nail in the wall or paint the wall or decorate any way that you want. Come on, y'all. Let's make wise decisions. Right. Wearing a new house. You heard me, Nicole. I said what I said. Hey, babe. Did I say I liked your picture? Nicole, I liked your picture. I be looking at y'all. Anywho, because y'all look at me all the time. Damn right I'm going to look at y'all too. Anywho. But I missed your question. Uh-oh. Let's go back. Wait. How far back was your question? No, Shonda, I don't see the question. You know, sometimes stuff will pop up on your side that doesn't pop up on my side. That's why I stopped doing the giveaways, honestly, because people would be sending me screenshots of, I said this first, but it would never be on my side. So to just alleviate the stress of all that, of people getting upset, I stopped doing giveaways, if y'all hadn't noticed. But go ahead and repeat your question, baby, because it did not. Okay, so how long does it take for a credit to update after debts have been paid? Give everything a 30-day cycle. Why do you say you need trade lines, China? But 30 days, everything reports to the credit bureau every 30 days. Now, they all don't report on the same day. So find out what that creditor cycle is when they actually report. And you can just ask when they'll tell you. Yeah. Usually, and if you're getting a statement for it, look at your statement date, not your due date. Your statement date is the date that your statement actually prints, which means that's the date it actually gets reported to the credit bureau. China, what you talking about? Because I know by now you should have done that SELF, which is a self-lending program. I know by now you could have done a secured card. You paid off everything I need before you come see me. You're getting close. Coming to the Terror Dome. Let me say this, Shonda. Congratulations. That's a big accomplishment, babe. Go ahead and pat yourself on the back. Go ahead and pat yourself on the back. Walk around real slow doing this. Dun, 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 dun. In fact, let's have this whole moment. Haven't done this in a while. Oh my God. Yeah, I need to clean up this morning. I was in a rush, okay? Don't judge me. Did y'all purchase your tiaras when I told you to? Do this. China, Tosh told you that you needed to do the secured self card. I also told you, wait, your rep submitted. That means you only try with one lender. I need you to do at least 3 lenders. So try with Loan Depot and Synovus. But anyway, I'm in Tallahassee, Florida. But if you're needing a realtor in the Houston area, text me or email me and I'll find you one. So all this performance is all because Shonda paid off her debt. So since she can't sit around with a crown on her head waiting, I'll do it for her. Okay? Okay. So, how do you get an appointment with me? You can hit the link in my bio. Under contract, home inspections on appraisal done now in the process of waiting for condition. When's under contract? Usually that same week. I said try self. The link is in my bio. Oh, the companies. Loan Depot. Loan and Depot. And if it's an FHA loan, 3.5% down payment is amazing. Loan Depot. Synovus Bank. Synovus has a product that mirrors NACA called A as in Apple, M as in Mary, P as in Paul. And you can also try with Annie Mac. ANNIE Mac, MAC. Now, Gwen, usually for me it's taken about I would say 2 to 3 days. So yeah. Usually once the appraisal's done, I'm usually in about 2 to 3 days I get my clear to close. Usually. But keep in mind, they could be backed up because, you know, these nice little COVID numbers, they're doing a number on people. So, yeah. So, the whole purpose of this live, because I'm about to go, because I was not staying long, was to make sure that, yeah, baby, you about to be a homeowner. I closed on the house today. I will represent the seller, which was my uncle. So, guys, back to the credit conversation. This is really important. And also, you all have been asking me about getting credit for your rent. Hit the link in my bio for that as well. Okay? So, go ahead.
Do you ever feel like you're struggling to keep your head above water? Your financial goals are always just out of reach. Are you trying to buy a home or car, find a job, or rent an apartment, but are facing rejection because of poor credit, excessive debt, or high interest rates? Are you not sure where you should turn next? United Credit Education Services is here to help. We're assisting people just like you secure their financial future through our amazing UCES Protection Plan. The UCES Protection Plan is a powerful array of products designed to make a three-pronged approach to excellent financial well-being by helping you rebuild and maintain your credit, organize and take control of your financial future, and protect both yourself and your family from uncertainty. Your credit score is the most important number in your financial life, and having a low credit score can lead to you paying significantly more, tens of thousands to even millions of dollars more in interest over the course of your lifetime.
This is for everyone.
Even cost you a potential job,
For down payment assistance programs, Google down payment assistance plus your state, and everything that's available in your state will pop up.
UCES Protection Plan is our powerful credit restoration program. If you are one of the 4 in 5 Americans with an error on your credit report, this program will aid you in the process of disputing inaccurate, obsolete, and erroneous items that may be negatively impacting your credit score. Helpful videos, tips, and customer support are here to help you every step of the way. You'll also have access to the resources in our Credit Builder program, allowing you to learn more about how credit works and how to build your score going forward. Protecting and maintaining your score is just as important as improving it, which is why we've included...
This is the credit restoration organization that I'm working with.
Managing your finances properly will ensure a positive financial future, which is why the UCES Protection Plan offers tools to help you stay on track. Organize, balance, and stay on top of your monthly spending with our budgeting planner. Make a plan to get yourself out of debt as quickly as possible with our debt payoff calculator. Manage your progress and get regular reminders when saving for any purchase, big or small, with savings goals. And determine your ratio of assets to
what you mean they here in what?
Using all of these products in conjunction with each
What
other
nobody ain't call
will allow
me?
you to take an efficient approach to managing
Why
your
nobody ain't call
finances
me?
and maintain an organized financial lifestyle.
They better call
Once
me.
you've organized your financial profile and achieved your credit goals, you'll want to make sure that you protect these assets and your identity. In today's age of data breaches, security issues, and uncertainty, it is imperative to have a plan in place to ensure you stay protected. Our state-of-the-art identity monitoring system.
Okay, guys, so that video just, reiterated what I was saying. But Gwen, Ague, 1947. Okay, it took a semester off. Yeah, because everybody and their grandma came back to FAMU and FSU this semester. Everybody and their grandma. I tried to find a storage unit, child, boo, impossible. But have them give me a call. My nephew's coming. I'm in Louisiana actually in 2 weeks because my nephew's coming to LSU. So I'll be in NOLA in the BR. But anywho, cool. But anywho, for any of you guys who are in Louisiana, I'll be there in 2 weeks. If you're in Baton Rouge or New Orleans, which is where I'm from, holla at your girl. Let's go to lunch. Let's go get us some seafood. No, let's go on a swamp tour. Let's go on a swamp tour. While it's still hot, the gators are real active. Let's go do that. But anyway, so that is the credit restoration tool. The link is in my bio under credit repair. Honestly, you can't say, I want to be in a different position if you don't do something differently. If you've been trying on your own and you're not making any significant progress, note the word significant. Reach out for help. Don't drown. There's no reason for you to do so. Don't drown. And just think, when am I coming to D? What's the D? Detroit? What's the D? Dallas? Because you invite me to Dallas, hell, I'm coming. I'm really trying to find somewhere to go this weekend. I need a little R&R. But what's D? What's D? D Detroit? Nah, don't be sick. Don't look crazy now, because you know I ain't. Mm-hmm. Oh, Detroit? I've always wanted to come to Detroit, especially since I've been watching those shows about the people who've been restoring blocks at a time. I think that is amazingly interesting, and I would love to see a tour of those homes, to be quite honest with you. I'll come there. All I need is a bulletproof vest. I already got the block. I can come. That was a joke. You know, I've always wanted to visit the Steel City. I've watched a couple of documentaries on Detroit, and I think it's a city rich in history and in culture. I like to study cities. You said just downtown. I do. I like to study cities. When I go visit places, I don't like to do just the touristy stuff. I'm usually going to be in the museum, local museums, and going to galleries. The tours I do are really usually about the history. I'm actually a history buff. I'm kind of a nerd. If you hadn't picked up on that yet, but I think I would. I think I would love it. I'm going to totally agree with you. I think I would love it. I do. Because I've seen a lot of documentaries. I do. I think I would love it. I do. So guys, go ahead. I expect to be getting emails telling me that you all have signed up for the credit restoration. Take control. 6 months sounds like it's a long time, but we all know how quickly time moves. Think of how much or how quickly your home could be within your reach. Think of how quickly your home can be in reach. With Chicago, my dad loved Chicago. And I've always gone, and my friend went to Chicago. He lived in Chicago. He's from Chicago. I've always wanted to go to the Taste of Chicago. So I would most definitely, I would visit Chicago. Oh, you get to have an annoying team, but if I say something about Junior, you got attitude. It's amazing. Oh, you said it's not like it used to be. But seriously, you guys, yours is about to be 18. I really want you all to really truly decide that you're going to make a change. I don't want you to miss the next big moment down the pipeline. I don't. Wouldn't you hate for them to actually pass the law erasing like $50,000 of student loan debt and you still can't get a house because you got stuff in collections? Like, Biden is being really pressed to pass a bill forgiving student debt. Wouldn't you hate to have your student debt forgiven or significantly reduced and you still can't buy a house because you got charged off in collections? They've already reduced how much they're calculating it. Now, wouldn't you want to kick yourself then? If you got student debt, because right now they're talking about $50,000, right? So if you have student debt that's $60,000 and they forgive $50,000 and you only owe $10,000, that they'll only be calculating at 0.5%, and you can't get a house because you got some damn charge-offs and some collections because you didn't take control and you didn't seize the opportunity now? That's beyond crazy. That's beyond crazy. But what I'm saying is, like, yeah, it's your problem, it's different because your situation is different, right? You're saying about income. So your situation is completely different from the average Joe's. But ask yourself, because if you're not keeping a pulse on what's going on, what's coming on the pipeline, what their discussion in Washington, because Washington is the ultimate distractors. Look at this over here while we do this over here. Look at this over here, but we're doing this over there. So you're over here looking at this, which right now is the COVID numbers, but you're not paying attention to this because what's going on with COVID, if you hadn't learned by now, affects what our financial market is going to do. So if the first time we were hit with the pandemic, the first year or so, we were hit with the pandemic and they made these great concessions by lowering the interest rate and they started giving money to help stimulate the economy, right? So now that we're going in this second wave, they've already reduced how they're calculating our student loans. They're talking about forgiving a major portion of the student loans. So wouldn't you hate for them to drop the interest rates back down to 1.5%, and now your student loans gone and you can't get a house because you owe Capital One. Now, in 2008, the market crashed for a completely different reason. And that's the mistake people keep making. They keep comparing what's going on now to 2008. That's not, normally I can say apple and oranges because apple and oranges are all fruit, but this isn't apple and oranges. This is apples and an orangutan. Oh, you talking about when Sade's sick? Yeah. Come on, people. Pay attention. Reading the writing on the wall. We about to go back inside. This pandemic is affecting and hitting, before it was hitting the elderly and those who just had compromised immune system. Now it's affecting our babies. How you gonna work if you're gonna be home taking care of your baby? See, you had to live off your credit card. There are people, you were forced in a situation, but there were people whom are choosing to do that and putting themselves in financial debt and not taking this opportunity to make a change. And my thing is that you're saying that you lost your home. You lost that house. Because when it's your home, there is no losing it. So you lost a property, you might have lost a house, but you didn't lose your home. Perspectives, baby. Perspectives. You don't get why this government is trying so hard to sabotage its main support. Child, I don't understand. I don't understand why government. I ain't gonna say this. I ain't gonna say the previous. I'm gonna say government. But my thing is, like, right now, it's attacking the babies, right? The worst. And I never understood. I'll be in a grocery store and I'll see a parent with, like, an infant, and they won't have no coverings on the infant. They'll just have the child just all exposed. And it isn't, one particular group of people, because all of them do it. And I remember back in the day, you would, when you have a newborn, you'd have the little blanket over their head, or you'd have them in a little stroller, and you'd have them, like, confined from the world because they were new and their immune systems really couldn't handle that. When I was watching the news last night, and they was talking about a 2-year-old being intubated in Texas, newborns being intubated in Texas because of the Delta. And also here in Florida, how the numbers are rising, and they had to request different breathing apparatus machines to help those who are in the hospital for COVID, and for the governor to say that he had no idea. And how it's like the war has now changed from the elderly to the innocent. But this all ties into what I'm preparing you, what I'm talking to you about financially. There's going to be another big something. They're already talking about forgiving student loans. Now, will they forgive all the student loans? I doubt it. Will they forgive a portion of them? Yes. But like I said, wouldn't it creep under your skin to have your student loans forgiven and you can't buy your house? There are no ICU beds in Louisiana. I know I saw it in Mississippi too, and in Alabama. Alabama only probably got like 3 or 4 left now. But wouldn't it be just a dagger if you can't purchase your home because you owe Capital One $1,000? Or you didn't dispute it and get it off your credit bureau report. So now you can't get your house. If y'all don't get y'all shit together. Yep. It would be messed up that people would think ever and consider not owing, period. I really don't. It's beyond me because right now there is what I call the funky fresh setup going on, right? In the words of my brother, yeah, we all need to get together. My cousin said earlier today, I think she's going to do a TikTok on it. This is one group project that we all failing. When she said today, it tickled my soul. But here's the thing. We all need to make a change, right? Me included. We all need to make a change. But the question is, when you gonna change? Well, the point of ownership is, from my perspective, and my perspective only. The one thing they're not making any more of is land, number one. So it's a commodity that's going to be there and it's going to increase in value, number one. Number two, again, in my humble opinion, land is one of those things that can work for you. It's an asset. You can always use it as collateral. Especially, if you're a parent, like myself, and I want my child to go to college. But let's say if I hadn't saved up. Hi, Alicia. But what if I hadn't saved up? And I need to pay for my child to go. Oh, shit. Well, sorry, y'all. This conversation is ending because my husband just joined the live. And if you can see Pumpkin, he's giving me the side eye. So we'll have to continue this explanation tomorrow. But it's only a ring borrowed to pay, and on and on. Not true. Because if you... not true at all. Husband, I'm logging off. I'm finished. Okay, I'm finished my thought. Not true. Because here's the thing. What a lot of people don't realize or ask is that they tell you you're getting a 30-year loan or you can get a 15-year loan. But if in the event that you actually take 1 to 2 of your payments that you are scheduled to have in having your amortization done for a home loan. I'm looking for my water. I'm choking. Hold on. Okay. if you take one or two of your payments and you apply to principal only, then you can cut down your mortgage timeline from 30 years to 15 years. And if you do that multiple times, then you're continually reducing. But the key is having it only apply towards principal. So it's not an on and on and on and on and on and on and on thing. With anything, you have to go into it with a plan. Right? You have to go into it with a plan. How do you increase your credit score without new lines of credit? Well, one, what I would suggest that you do, you can always sign up for the credit stimulator, which is a part of the plan. The link is in my bio for credit repair. Two, you probably the easiest way would be paying down your debt and how you're paying down your debt, right? When you're making your payments, it's also not as much as paying the minimum due, but how you're making your payments as well. So that's how you can, increase your without new lines of credit. And also, if you have any derogatory information, it's a matter of disputing it and what you can have removed and how it's going to increase your score. But here's the whole key. When you're removing negative things, you do have to add positive things as well. It's a seesaw. And it doesn't necessarily mean that when you're having new lines of credit, if you're saying getting a new credit card or getting a new loan or something like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that. You can do something as simple as clicking the link in my bio and adding your rent to your credit bureau report. That will help boost your score. And that's something that's called alternative credit. Right, so you don't have to open up a new account to increase your score. You can also use the alternative credit, right? So when you keep your debt at 30% or below, your score will increase. But also keep in mind, how you attack things and how you go about it, right? So when there's always, you have to have a plan, right? They had a plan even to attack they have the walls of Jericho coming crumbling down. They had a plan. So you have to have a plan. I'll be here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I'm going to go because I have been summoned by the one Spanish word I know, my esposo, which is husband. Okay, I know more than one Spanish word, but that one I'm getting right all the time. All right, ladies and gents. So, well, I wouldn't say don't spend more on your credit cards than you can pay off monthly. I would say don't spend any more than 30% of your available credit. Now, I told y'all it ain't but one word. I know I'm getting right all the time. I think BM means good. I think. Como esta? How are you? What is this, Spanish 101? Okay, y'all. We were talking about credit. Click the link in the bio. Sign up for the credit repair. Not only when you sign up for the credit repair, you'll also be talking to me quite often because I am a micromanager. Clearly, I am the boss. Never. Anywho. So, girl, stop causing bullshit in my house. Come on, Tiva. Look. Buenas noches. Thank you guys for spending this time with me. I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully the information I shared made a difference and gave you some insight. Feel free to reach out to me if you need. You can click the link in the bio and schedule an appointment with me. I read the comment. Sorry. Schedule an appointment with me. I am available for you. Also, if you have any detailed questions about the credit repair, hey baby, you come on when I'm going. Hey my poo. Smooth Smooches, loves, hugs. Hey, Kimberly. You guys come at the end of when I'm about to dip. But I'll be back tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, and I'll probably pop in at some point during the day. And I'm going to try to do a better job at popping in on IG as well. Instagram for those who don't know. But anywho, so again, thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. You could have spent this time with anyone else. However, you deemed me important enough to spend this time with, and I greatly appreciate it. I don't know what y'all was talking about with this person in the background who I'm married to, but he done showed up, and I am out. Good night, Kim.
Want me to press it?
I want you to stop cutting me off. I'm trying to say good night, though.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Greatly look at her, yikes. Greatly appreciate you guys. Have a good evening. Be blessed. Stay safe.